For a few seconds, it was completely silent.
Hit my flashlight like
Then
this.
a voice spoke.
Hey!
It said, "Hey there, boys."
Oh, hell no.
It was a man's voice.
Nope, that's a pedophile.
Calm, but somehow intimidating.
That's a pedophile.
You like candy?
Oh, hell no. 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 That's the worst. That's the two worst things a random guy could say to you when you're a child. Hey there, boys. You want some candy? What's going on, y'all? Darius here, back here for another video, and happy Halloween. It is Halloween day, Halloween night right now as I'm recording this, and as has been the tradition on my channel for Halloween, I typically watch a scary story video, and this one's from Mr. Nightmare. This one is 3 disturbing true Halloween scary stories. Make sure you go over to his channel, support him. These videos are always really good, and the way he tells them is always great. But yeah, man, happy Halloween. Today I'm dressed up. I work in a professional setting, so they won't let us really do Halloween stuff at work, and I just got off of work a couple hours ago. So basically, every year I try to like make my Halloween costume to wear to work if I'm working that day, based around some character that wears like suits or something business, professional. So I'm pretty much Fletcher from Whiplash. If you ever seen Whiplash, dude wore like the black jacket, white O-neck shirt, black O-neck shirt. And then black pants and stuff. So I'm essentially Fletcher. That's my lazy Halloween costume. Not my fucking tempo! If I ever see one of these laying around, I swear to fucking God, I will stop being so polite. Okay, anyway, let's go ahead and jump to this video, man. Without further ado. Let's get it. Were you rushing or were you dragging? All right, let's lock in here for this. Story 1 by Hedgehog, who's a channel member. Ooh, yeah, that's cool.
This happened 2 years ago on Halloween of 2023.
Okay.
I'm a 25-year-old male, but
Hey,
at
I'm
the time
25.
of this story, I was 22.
We're the same age.
I had a long day of work due to a festival we had where we had parents bring their kids to the center for various activities, such as many different competitive games, a costume contest, trivia for candy, and a kids vs. parents dodgeball game. Overall, it was a very fun time, but it was definitely tiring. For context, I'm a community worker, so doing community events is pretty much what I do on a normal basis.
Cool.
But it's also draining, if that makes sense. Anyway, after it was all done, I went home and was ready to call it a night. About an hour after I got home, it was around 6-something, my little sister called me. My sister, who I'll call Savannah, wanted me to take her and my nephew, who I'll call Jackson, trick-or-treating because neither our parents nor Jackson's parents felt like doing it. And as it usually goes, it fell on me to be the cool big brother to step in and make it happen.
Of course.
Savannah was 15 and Jackson was 11. Even though I wasn't feeling it at all, I got up, threw some clothes on, and headed to my parents' house to pick them up. Once I got there, I asked if they were ready, but Savannah was still finalizing her costume. She was dressed up as Raven from Teen Titans.
Nice!
She even had the white makeup on to give that ghostly appearance Raven usually has. Jackson was dressed as Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat.
These people know
Once Savannah
they know
was
what's
done,
up, man, these
we
kids.
got in the car and were on our way. I took them to a pretty busy neighborhood to make sure they got as much candy as possible. Upon arrival, we started going from house to house. Everyone we ran into was friendly and had plenty of treats to hand out. There was even one house where an older man gave them each a hot dog and a soda.
Oh, wow, that's pretty good.
He said every year for Halloween, he doesn't hand out candy. He grills food instead because he'd rather give kids something with protein. Since it's good for the body.
Yeah.
Honestly, we probably need more people like that.
That's honestly, yeah, the candy.
We passed a lot of other kids.
Especially a lot
some
of these
gave
candies
compliments
have
to Savannah and Jackson's
terrible
costumes.
things in them.
I also saw some really cool costumes myself. Everyone in the area seemed to go all out. When we hit the last house for the night,
Not like my
we started
lower
walking
costume.
back to the car. It was about a 10-minute walk since we had gone pretty far down the neighborhood. The neighborhood was less active now, and there weren't as many people out and about. That's why I got alarmed when I looked across the street and saw a person dressed in all black standing in a yard where there were no porch lights on. I'm surprised I even noticed them at all, but I tend to always pay attention to my surroundings. When I looked closer, it seemed like the person was wearing a hooded cloak with an all-black outfit and a mask.
Sidious?
I couldn't see their face at all. I honestly couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman.
Maybe they're noob cybot.
Whoever it was, they appeared to be looking at us. I told Savannah and Jackson to stay close to me and said, "There's a suspicious person across the yard.
Hey,
Look,
sus.
but don't stare." I said that so they could see who I was talking about without encouraging the person to approach or follow us.
Yeah.
Jackson laughed and thought it was just someone trying to scare people walking by.
Don't.
Savannah, though, looked noticeably worried. Now, just to add some context, I was carrying a backpack with a Glock inside.
Nice.
Savannah knew this.
Nice.
So when I told them to stay close, she probably realized I was being serious. Jackson was clueless.
And you give me
He's
a
too
Glock.
young for me to tell him that I carry a real gun. As we were walking away, it looked like that person was still watching us, even though it was hard
But
to tell in
not
the
too
dark.
young to be playing Mortal Kombat?
We were getting closer to the car when I suddenly heard heavy footsteps behind us, like boots hitting the concrete. I turned around and saw that same person again.
Nope.
Same outfit, all black.
I'm pulling it out at
This
that point.
time, I could see more clearly. They were wearing a tactical vest,
Oh,
tactical boots,
fuck no.
and black pants tucked into the boots.
Nope, pull out the blicky.
They had on a full spandex mask that completely covered their face. That made the situation way more serious. When you see someone dressed like that, the first thing that comes to mind is that they're armed.
Yep. And
He's
so are you.
following us, I thought. I whispered to Savannah and Jackson, "I need you both to listen very
You should have
carefully.
kept it on your person, not
Do
like on
not
your
stop
bag.
walking and do not look back.
Okay.
The person I mentioned earlier is following us.
Yeah.
They're behind us right now. The last thing we want is to alarm them or set them off, so just
Okay.
keep your composure and keep walking." I mainly looked at Jackson when saying this, because he's younger and might not fully understand how serious this was. Savannah understood completely. We kept walking and did occasional glances behind us. The person stayed the same distance away, but was still following.
Like, I'm gonna, like...
We got to the car. They
Okay.
were still coming our way.
Yeah, no.
That's when I decided to make a bold move. I pulled out my
There you
Glock
go.
and pointed it at the person.
Pull that shit out. I don't have my
I asked
Glock with
why
me.
they're following
Or
us.
my like, BB gun.
The person raised their hands, as if they didn't expect me to do that, then slowly removed their mask.
My
It was
brother-in-law
a
has it.
woman, and she looked to be in her 30s. She took her mask off, but didn't answer my question. She just stared at me blankly. I asked again, still pointing the gun, "Why are you following us?" What she said next made no sense. In an almost robotic tone,
Oh, hell
she
no.
said, "I'm an undercover cop.
What?
I was told there was a break-in, so I came to check it out.
Oh, and you're
That's
following
why I was
us?
standing outside that house. But when you looked at me funny, I assumed you were the one who did it.
Oh, yeah,
So
bullshit.
it would be wise to lower that weapon, or I could have you arrested for threatening an officer of the law."
Let me see a badge.
I hesitated, but then lowered my gun.
No, let me see a badge.
What else was I supposed to do?
Ask
I didn't
for a
want to risk
badge.
an arrest or ruin the kid's night.
Let me see a
But her
badge,
story
damn it.
didn't make any sense. She claimed she got word of a break-in, so why would she just stand outside facing away from the house?
Yeah,
How did me looking at her funny make her think I was the one who did it?
Especially I have a
Why
bunch
would
of
I
kids
break into
with
a
me.
house and then casually walk through the neighborhood? And why was she wearing a hooded cloak?
Yeah.
All these questions were racing through my mind. So I asked her, "If you're undercover, why are you in tactical gear? Wouldn't that kind of
That
give away
gives
that
you
you're
away.
law enforcement?
Yep,
And what's the point of the cloak?"
Yeah.
She didn't answer.
They're all good
She
questions.
just stared at me again, but this time her expression changed. There was something malicious in her eyes, like she was irritated that I didn't believe her and was deciding what to do next. Jackson and Savannah stayed completely quiet through
Literally,
all
all you gotta
of this.
do is just show a
And
badge.
she
and be like,
smiled
okay,
this
cool.
creepy, unsettling smile and said, "If you didn't have that gun, this night would have ended a hell of a lot different for you."
What the fuck does that mean?
Right as she finished saying that, I noticed 4 figures suddenly emerge from between the houses, walking toward us.
Ooh!
All of them were wearing tactical gear.
Oh, hell no,
without
dude.
the cloak. I instantly told Savannah and Jackson to get in the car, keeping my eyes on the woman and the figures.
I was gonna say, are these like freaking ICE agents? But this is 2023. That wasn't that big. They weren't doing what they're doing now. Anyway,
Once I saw they were in, I got into and drove off.
what race
As I was
are
leaving,
you?
the woman was still standing there.
Is it about to be a hate
smiling.
crime?
The others, 3 men and 1 woman, were not smiling. They had blank, emotionless faces, like they didn't even have souls.
Depending on what your
It's hard
race
to
is, this
explain.
may have been a hate crime.
The whole car ride back was silent.
In the
I'm
making.
sure the kids were in shock, just like I was. I dropped them off, made sure they got in safely, then went home to process everything that happened. The thing I couldn't shake off was why they targeted us. The neighborhood was full of people walking around.
I need to know what
So
race.
why us?
What race are you? Are you white,
I wish I
black?
could say
What are
it
you?
ended there, but it didn't.
Asian,
A few
Hispanic?
days later, I got a text from an unknown number.
How the fuck did they got
It
your
was
number?
just a photo, no words. The picture was of my car, taken in the parking lot of my apartment complex.
I'm sorry?
I contacted the police and told them everything that happened on Halloween night. They took the report, but they couldn't investigate unless a direct threat was made. Typical.
Dude, fuck that, bro.
Out of curiosity and maybe stupidity,
You need to get more than a
I went
Glock.
back to that same house where I first saw that woman.
Get a shotgun.
I knocked on the door.
Get an AR-15.
The man in his 40s answered. I asked if they'd experienced a break-in on Halloween night. He looked confused and said no. He said he went to bed early because he had work the next morning and didn't notice anything strange. I told him what I saw, and he had no idea what I was talking about. I thanked him for his time and left. At that point, I already knew the undercover cop story was fake.
Y'all gotta stay
but
strapped,
I wanted to
man.
do my own little investigation just to make sense of
Y'all
it.
gotta stay strapped.
Whoever that woman and those people were somehow knew my phone number and
Yeah.
where I lived.
How the fuck they knew that shit?
It makes me wonder, was that not a random encounter after all?
No.
Were they watching me for a while?
If they knew that
Were they
stuff.
planning something that night?
How did they even
And
get your
my
number?
being armed threw them off? All those thoughts messed me up and made me feel paranoid for a long
It's
time.
gotta be like someone.
I had to go to therapy and install a Ring camera at my front door just to
Good.
feel safe again. In case you're wondering, I haven't been contacted by any unknown numbers since. Nothing else has happened since that picture. 2 years later, I still think back on that night. Writing this out helps me a lot, and I'm trying to fully move on from it. But if there's one thing I want people to take away from this,
Get a
it's
gun.
to always watch your surroundings.
And get a gun.
You never know who might be watching you. It's easy to get caught up in something dangerous just for existing, so always stay safe and protected.
Oh, I know
As
that.
I can say with full confidence that
I know
being
that.
armed that night probably saved our lives.
I know that. Oh man, yeah, dude, yeah. You need to get. He's got the Glock already. That's good. But you need a shotgun. You need a freaking AR.
This happened when I was 12 years old. It was Halloween day.
Okay.
My family was staying at a small family resort about an hour away from where we lived.
Sounds like a setup for a horror movie.
My parents wanted to do something different that year instead of just walking around our neighborhood for trick-or-treating. The resort was holding a Halloween celebration that weekend
We
with
don't
a
do
bunch of
trick-or-treating around
activities, games, and even a haunted hayride. It wasn't a big place. It had maybe 10 cabins, a main lodge, a small lake, and a long open field where they set up hayrides and games.
Okay.
It was surrounded by woods on all sides. During the day, it looked normal, even kind of peaceful. But once it got dark, the woods looked black and creepy.
Ugh.
And the resort felt a little too quiet.
They're in the
We
woods.
checked in early that afternoon. I remember walking into the cabin and feeling excited because I could smell campfire smoke and candy apples in the air. Kids were running around in costumes, even though it wasn't dark yet. My parents said the hayride was starting around 7, and there'd be games before that, so I went off to play while they unpacked. They had booths where you could toss rings over bottles for candy, a costume contest, and even a pumpkin carving area.
Nice.
Everything was decorated with orange lights and fake spider webs.
Yeah, orange lights in here.
I met another kid around my age there. His name was Ryan. He was
Hi,
wearing
Ryan.
a skeleton costume and said he and his parents were staying in the next cabin over from ours.
He's dressed like La Parka.
We played a few games together and got a good amount of candy. As it got closer to 7, we saw a crowd of families walking over to the hayride area.
Okay.
The tractor pulling the wagon was parked near a big barn, and they had hay bales lined up inside for people to sit on. There were maybe 20 of us who got on. The driver wore a scarecrow mask, and there were workers dressed like zombies who would jump out during the ride to scare people.
Walkers.
The ride started out fun. It was dark by then, and they had torches lighting the dirt trail. The tractor moved slowly through the woods, and every now and then, someone in a costume would appear from behind a tree
Oh,
or
there's
run
gonna
up
be-
to the wagon.
There's gonna be someone in here
Most
that's
people
not
laughed
supposed
or
to be here.
screamed and then laughed again.
Yeah, it's not gonna.
It felt like a normal Halloween attraction.
This is gonna go very
But about
bad.
halfway through, something made me uncomfortable.
Gonna be somebody just.
We were passing through a part of the trail that was
Yeah.
darker than the rest.
Yeah, I feel it coming.
The tractor slowed down, and I looked toward the edge of the woods on my side.
See a damn clown or
That's
something.
when I saw a man standing just outside the torchlight. He
Oh!
wasn't part of the hayride cast. I could tell that right away.
Oh, that kinda
He
scared
wasn't
me.
wearing a costume that fit the theme.
Uh-huh.
From what I remember, he had a black jacket, jeans, and a baseball cap pulled low over his face.
Mm-hmm.
He was just standing there, not moving, with his hands in his
Incognito.
pockets. At first, I thought maybe he was one of the workers taking a break.
I don't know
But he
about that.
wasn't doing anything.
he's not, like, in proper
he was
costume.
only watching. At one point, I made eye contact with him.
Why?
Or at least I think I did. Even though his face was shadowed, I could feel his eyes locked on me. I turned to look at the people around me to see if anyone else noticed,
But you've
but
seen
no
this
one
shit.
seemed to. When I looked back, he was still there, in the exact same position. I tried to ignore it for the rest of the ride. but I kept thinking about him.
Freaking creeper, man.
When the hayride ended and everyone got off, I looked back one more time toward the woods. He was gone. I didn't mention it to anyone right then. I figured maybe I imagined it or overreacted.
I'll never be like, oh, I imagine.
We went back to the lodge where they had more games and food. My parents sat by a bonfire while Ryan and I went around collecting candy.
I've never been in a situation
Everything seemed normal again.
where I was just like,
About an hour later, I saw him again.
That's my imagination.
Ryan and I were standing near the snack table when I noticed someone off to the side of the crowd.
Okay.
It was the same man. He wasn't close, maybe 30 feet away.
No.
But he was standing near the tree line, watching again.
I don't play these games. Well,
There were a
he's
lot
12.
of people around, so it felt strange that he'd just be standing there alone.
I was gonna say, man, at this point, I'm like, hey, quit playing, man. What you doing? But again, he's 12 at this point. You know, he's not.
I remember my stomach tightening.
I see you.
I realized he was looking in my direction. I tried to get a better look at his face, but it was hard because of the lighting. I could make out a short beard, and I think his hat had some kind of logo on it. I nudged Ryan and told him about the guy. Ryan looked over and said, maybe he's one of the workers.
Logo.
I said, he's not. He was in the woods during the hayride.
He's in the woods.
Ryan shrugged and said, maybe he's a dad. I wanted to believe that, but he wasn't talking to anyone, just standing there. A few minutes later, when I looked back again, he was gone. Around 9 o'clock, if I had to guess, most of the little kids had gone back to their cabins. The event was winding down, but Ryan and I still had energy.
Okay.
We decided to walk around the resort before going in.
Cool.
There was a trail behind the cabins that led into the woods. Ryan said we should go a little way in to do something scary for Halloween before the night ended. I didn't want to go too far, but we had flashlights, and I didn't want to look like a coward. So we walked down the dirt path together, laughing and daring each other to keep going.
I just wouldn't do it. No.
The farther we went, the quieter it got.
The woods and the dark.
The sounds from the resort faded until it was just the crunching of our shoes on the path. We only went maybe 200 feet in when we stopped near a clearing. There was an old wooden sign nailed to a tree that said private property.
Turn to slender.
We started throwing small rocks at the sign and pretending to summon ghosts or something dumb like that.
Why?
Then we both heard it. Footsteps. Heavy, slow footsteps coming from behind us, somewhere deeper on the path. We froze and turned around. Ryan whispered, probably another kid.
What?
But it didn't sound like a kid.
That's some heavy-ass
Whoever
footsteps.
it was walked with weight, like an adult. I shined my flashlight down the path. The light only went so far, and I couldn't see anyone yet.
Hey, who's there?
And the footsteps stopped. For a few seconds, it was completely silent.
And my flashlight like
Then
this.
a voice spoke.
Hey!
It said, hey there, boys.
Oh, hell no.
It was a man's voice.
Nope, that's a pedophile.
Calm, but somehow intimidating.
That's a pedophile.
Ryan looked at me, and I think he realized the same thing I did.
Nope.
It was the man from the hayride.
Nope.
He stepped into the light just enough for us to see part of him.
Nope.
Same black jacket and hat. What are you two doing out here?
A nigga hits you with, hey there, boys. It's a rap. It's a rap.
He asked. You like candy?
Oh, hell no. 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 That's the worst. That's the two worst things a random guy could say to you when you're a child. Hey there, boys. You want some candy?
Neither of us said anything.
It's out of the freaking
Pulled something out of
pedophile
his pocket and held it
serial
up.
killer playbook.
I could see the orange wrapper. It was a Reese's cup.
Nah, he probably
I got a
roofied that
bunch
shit.
more of these in my cabin, he said.
What the
Come on, I'll give you some.
Hell no.
Ryan took a step back.
Stranger danger.
His face going pale.
Nope.
The man took a few steps closer.
Run.
And then said,
Sprint.
You don't have to be scared.
No, you run.
It's Halloween. I'm
No.
just giving candy out.
No, run. Run. You're a child. Children are typically faster than adults. Kinda. Depends on how old you are.
I saw you boys on the hayride earlier.
Run!
When he said that, my stomach
How'd you remember our
basically dropped.
faces, you
I
creep?
grabbed Ryan's arm and whispered, run.
Run!
We both turned and sprinted down the edge of the resort. I could hear him behind us for a second.
Did he start running?
His footsteps were pounding hard as he started to chase.
Oh, fuck!
Didn't dare look back. My heart was beating so hard it hurt. The path seemed longer than before. When we reached the edge of the woods, I could finally see the lights from the resort again.
You freaking...
I yelled for help as we ran out of the trees
Yeah, bro,
and back
sprint.
toward the crowd near the bonfire.
Make sure you got your Nikes, your
A
Jordans
few
on.
adults turned toward us,
Your Adidas.
startled. We didn't stop until we got right up to the people.
I would have entered the Speed Force, bro. I've been running so fast. I would have saw freaking Barry Allen run right next to me.
I turned around, expecting to see the man behind us.
Dude.
He wasn't there.
Hell no.
The path was empty. My parents came over right away, asking what happened. I told them everything about the man watching me on the hayride, seeing him near the trees, and then following us into the woods. Ryan confirmed it all. My dad and another man grabbed flashlights and went to check the path.
They better go whoop
They
his
didn't
ass.
find anyone.
Nah.
A few workers searched too, but he was gone. The resort staff called the local police to report what happened. They arrived about 30 minutes later and took statements from me, Ryan, and our parents. They said they checked the area, notified nearby cabins to keep an eye out. That night, my parents didn't let me out of their sight.
Of course.
We stayed in the cabin with the door locked. I couldn't fall asleep for hours.
Yeah,
Every
I
noise
couldn't
outside
imagine.
made me jump.
I'd probably have nightmares.
The next morning, the police came back and told us they searched the property but didn't find anyone matching the description.
I mean, gone,
No
bro.
vehicles had been reported missing, and no one
gone.
fitting that man's description had checked in. They thought maybe he was a trespasser from outside the resort.
He's still out there.
We left later that day. I remember staring out the car window as we drove past the woods,
Waiting for
half
you.
expecting to see him standing there again. For weeks after that, I kept thinking I saw him on the side of the road, outside stores, even once at my school parking lot.
Oh, dude, that's like,
It
yeah.
was always someone else.
That's some psychological
Or at
slender
least,
shit.
I hope it was.
Michael Myers.
Ryan
shit.
and I kept in touch for a while. He told me he couldn't sleep for days after it happened.
Oh.
Nothing ever came of this. The police never called again. The man was never identified or caught. Now I'm older, and when I think about that night, what scares me isn't what he did, it's what he could have done. If we had believed him for even a second, if we had walked toward him instead of running,
Yep.
I don't think I'd be here to tell this story.
No, you would not be.
And every Halloween since then, whenever I see someone standing alone at
would've
the edge
got
of
your
a crowd,
ass.
I always think of that man. Sometimes people who look like they're part of the fun are watching for a different reason.
Yeah, nah. That's why you always teach your kids about stranger danger. Don't ever let your kids, be like, oh, wow, you got some candy? Yeah, sure, let's go.
My name is Roger, and this happened to me on Halloween night 3 years ago. I'm 29 and work a boring office job, but it's good pay. When this happened, I was getting stuck with the stuff.
Okay.
Beginner's time off, the shifts nobody wanted, etc. So when Halloween, my favorite holiday, rolled around, I was actually quite excited. It was never easy being the new guy at work, so I was wanting to enjoy a night of seeing kids be kids and chilling out at home watching movies. At the time, I was living alone in a small house on the outskirts of town with my girlfriend, but she was out of town with her parents. It wasn't isolated exactly. I had neighbors, but the street got really quiet once the trick-or-treating hours ended. The families in the area usually shut their lights off around 9 p.m.
Oh, our lights stay
Since I didn't
off.
have kids, I just handed out candy until the crowd died
We
down.
don't do trick-or-treating around here.
On several past Halloweens, before I got my own place, I was quite used to the occasional
about-
ding-dong ditch prank.
You think I'm gonna buy
That's
all
why
that
there
candy?
is a trick and treat here and there.
And not eat it myself?
That year, Halloween fell on a Saturday, and I remember it was chilly but clear out. By 10:30, I was lounging on my couch, half watching a horror movie while picking through a bowl of leftover candy.
Let me guess, you're watching
I hadn't seen anyone in about an hour,
The Thing.
so when I heard a faint knock at my side door, I assumed it was stragglers. But when I opened the door,
Why would you
no
not
one was there.
look through the
Just an
peephole,
empty
buddy?
driveway and the faint rustling of leaves.
Or the
I
ring
brushed
camera
it
if you
off.
got one.
Kids play pranks all the time on Halloween. I headed back to my living room to finish watching The Conjuring 2.
Oh,
15 minutes later,
Hell no.
I heard the same sound again. Only this time, it was coming from the back door,
Man.
the one that led to the small
Oh,
deck.
nope, that's
That
not
set
good.
off alarms in my head
Yep.
because nobody used that entrance.
Why would they go at that
Froze in
entrance?
the living room, listening. The TV was off now, and I could hear it clearly. The metal rattle of the back doorknob being tested, slowly and cautiously. Whoever was trying my door was either checking if it was locked cautiously or believed it was unlocked and trying to be quiet. I
Dog.
crept into the kitchen, staying low, and that's when I saw him through the window. A man was crouched down near the door, wearing dark clothes and a cheap, cracked Halloween mask pushed up on top of his head. In his hand, he held a crowbar.
Let's fucking go.
He wasn't trying to hide.
Let's fucking
He
go,
was
bro.
deliberate and calm, like
go.
he knew I was inside and didn't care.
Get up in here, see what
I
happens.
backed away quietly and grabbed my phone, whispering to 911 what was happening.
I do that too, but also
The
get up here, see what
operator
happens.
told me to stay on the line, lock myself somewhere safe, and not to engage. I didn't want to make noise by slamming the doors upstairs.
Being in a stand your ground state has its advantages. That's all I'll say.
So I stayed crouched at the
Come
top
up
of
here,
the
see what
steps,
happens.
clutching a kitchen knife, whispering updates. I peeked down and saw the man move away from the back door. That's when I heard the faint pop of a window screen being pried off.
Oh, hell no.
He
Nope.
was at the basement window now.
Nope.
I whispered to the dispatcher, he's at the basement. My voice was shaking. She told me officers were already on their way. Then came the worst moment. I heard glass crack. He was breaking the window. My blood ran cold.
Oh.
It wasn't just a smash and grab. He knew I was there, and most burglars typically don't try to enter a home where they know someone's still inside. Minutes felt like hours. The dispatcher kept me talking quietly to make sure I was still okay. I heard footsteps crunching outside. The man was circling the house again. Then, headlights swept across the blinds. Relief flooded me as flashing red and blue lights pulled up in front.
Good.
The man bolted.
Yep.
I watched him sprint across my yard, but he didn't get far.
Yeah, the cops got him. Yeah.
The officers tackled him just past my driveway. I didn't even realize I was shaking until I saw one of the cops leading him back in cuffs. That's when I saw what he'd been carrying.
What?
The crowbar, duct tape, and zip ties stuffed in his bag.
Oh, he was trying to... Oh,
This
no.
wasn't a burglar.
No, that's not a
looking for
burglar.
valuables.
That's a
This
kidnapper.
guy had a plan, and it was something far worse.
He's about...
The police told me he had a long record of breaking into homes, and that he was suspected in some other cases where people had gone missing. To this day, I hate being home alone on Halloween. It's supposed to be about scares and fun, but whenever I hear footsteps or knocking outside at night, I can't help but remember everything about this night.
Fucking try that shit around
The
here,
part
bro.
that chills me the most
See what it gets you.
is if the police had been just 5 minutes later,
Yeah.
I might not be here
If
to
they were
tell
late.
the story. The police later followed up weeks later. They told me what they found in his backpack.
What?
He had a Colt 45 handgun.
Oh, shit.
Several kitchen knives.
Oh, God.
and rope.
This is a... This type of nigga Dexter goes after, bro. That... Nah. He had a plan. And that plan was horrific to think about. Ugh. Yeah, man. There's some good stories there. Probably the creepiest one. I mean, the one that's most relevant to me is probably the burglar or the kidnapper, whatever you're gonna be, the freaking grabber, the guy from the Black Phone. But yeah, the one I'll tell you, the one with the kids and the dude's just like, "Hey kids, you want some candy?" I don't know why all of a sudden I gave him Herbert's voice. "Hey kids, want some candy? Come on, I got some candy in my cabin for you." I always think about that clip. Or it was like Chris like walked away. He's like, "Get your fat ass back here." Oh man, that's just like that's my default pedophile voice is Herbert from Family Guy. Yeah, that one. Ooh, that one. Yeah, it's why it's very important. You teach your kids about stranger danger, so that they know someone tell them, "Hey man, I got some candy for you. Hey boys." Nah, you say no and you bolt. You don't even walk away. You bolt immediately. That dude was giving chase too. It's crazy. And as I was saying, he's still possibly out there to this day, looking for his next victims. Anyway, some great stories from Mr. Nightmare. Make sure you go over to his channel, subscribe to him, man. I also really love, I feel like a real underappreciated or underrated part of this is like the visuals that he shows. Like that one where like with each break of the glass, it like zoomed in, cut in. You know, it reminded me of like Spider-Man 2 when Doc Ock was showing up. It like zoomed in with each like thud of the tentacles. Good stuff, man. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like. Okay, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out any new uploads. Which story to you was the scariest? Drop that down in the comments below, man. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.